Amazing. Thank you so much. Happy Saturday. Nadia Melton here, and I am so enthused to be here with you today. First off, I want to let you know this is something that the leadership of this organization puts on every single Saturday. You guys, the lineup for today's call is going to be absolute fire. I am so psyched. I'm so happy that you're taking time away from your business, away from your family to be here with us. And I want to encourage you, quick and in a hurry, get your team on these calls. If you have prospects on the fence, this is a genius opportunity to get them exposed to the team culture, to the way that we do things, to get them to see kind of the bigger vision, the training, how we do what we do, because a lot of times that next level of information and inspiration is what's going to get them to get started with you, right? So anyways, happy Saturday. Congratulations. Thank you for being here. If you're new to Modere, holy guacamole, right? I want you to fasten up your seatbelts. Here's what I'll tell you guys. We could be biased. My husband and I have been blessed and fortunate to be a part of this opportunity for over 8 years. It's kind of crazy. And it's been the best ride in business. And look, we've been in the industry for 20-plus years. We've seen the good, bad, and the ugly. And every single day, I'm so grateful for the opportunity. I'm so grateful that today it is 2024. What does that mean? That means you and I have an opportunity from the comfort of our own home. If you have a cell phone device, you are perfectly equipped to create and run your own media company, to plug into a brand that's clean living brand that has many, many viral products. You guys, it's like, did the genie just come out of the bottle and give us the perfect timing and perfect opportunity to engage with, to elevate our lifestyle? What? Can we say that again? Because here's the thing, we only live once, right? Now, money is not everything, but it absolutely ranks up there with oxygen. And so let's elevate our lifestyle. Let's fasten up our bank accounts. Let's elevate our thoughts, our mindset, our vibration. And I feel today is a good day to do that. All right, with all that being said, let's just go ahead and get my beautiful energy out of the way right away. And I could be biased, but I want to bring on the most amazing man of the business. Baby, how do you like that? So anyways, I happen to be married to him. You guys, you know what's crazy? In September, our 20th year wedding anniversary is coming up. It is insane. Like, we grew up in this business. I watch him do his operation on a daily, and he just, you know, he's got a heart of gold. He works so hard. He's so good at what he does. And I'm just so impressed with what it is that he's created. He's going to bring forward to you his best insights and tips to help you go from A to B. I hope you're ready. Get pen and paper. Let's do it. Mr. John Melton is in the house.
Well, how do I follow that amazing introduction? You guys can probably see why I like when Nadia opens up the call, and I'm sure many of you are like, oh, why can't she just do the whole call? I know, I understand. But don't worry, we have another fun accent coming up next with Kelly from the UK. Right, Kelly? Anyway, I'm excited to be here hosting today's call, and yeah, it's international, right? You got people calling in from literally all over the world. You know, we've built the #1 team in this company. Myself, the Zaleckis, Michelle Barnes, Margie Elaprandi, Tim Housen, Brian McMullen, and all the amazing elite leaders that represent M-Life Nation, Rhino Nation, this incredible organization. And we're just so grateful, so blessed to be a part of this company. And we kind of feel like we're just getting started. You know, we're not in retirement mode. We're not in like kick back and cash our paycheck mode. We're not relaxing. And well, we did relax a little bit over the last couple of days because it's July 4th. But outside of that, right, us Americans celebrating America, right, this is a business that all of us, everyone I just mentioned, all the leaders that are on this call, we are in our prime. We are laser focused right now on growing this team, growing the customer base. The company is heavily invested in all of us. With 7 new products in the pipeline, they're looking at opening up new markets, new countries. They just brought out this whole new website. We got a new app, right? We've got all these new C-level executives, right? Our new president, Nate Frazier, that came over here from GNC and all this world-renowned experience and expertise with sports nutrition, running with franchises all over the world. I mean, we're at the right place at the right time, but it doesn't matter if you don't get your piece of the pie. So how many of you are like, all right, I'm ready to take some notes. I want to get my piece of the pie. I want to build my dream team. I want to build my Modare business. And, you know, Nadia mentioned it. We got started back in 2015. We're actually coming up on our 9-year anniversary with this amazing company. 20 years of marriage also in September. And by the way, this is kind of crazy. I actually got started in network marketing in September of 2021. So I'm also going to have my 23-year anniversary getting started in this amazing personal development plan with a compensation plan attached. That's really what it is. It's personal development, character development with a comp plan attached. So the more you work on yourself, the more you tune into calls like this, and you don't just listen, but you're an active listener, right? You're taking notes. You're implementing what it is you're hearing on a call like this, because every single Saturday we have different hosts, different leaders that are running these calls, and then we have different guest speakers, like the 3 you're going to hear from today, right, with Risa, with Kelly. You're going to hear their story. You're going to hear why they got started in this business. You're going to hear what they love about these products. You're going to hear why Teisha is crushing it on a consistent basis. You're going to hear some of my tips, right? So every Saturday we do calls like this where you can hear from people that are having success, but also you're going to hear what they had to overcome. You're going to hear some of their struggles because, look, here's the truth. Some of you are brand new. Some of you have been around a while. Some of you are rebuilding or relaunching your business. You know, everybody's in a different stage or a different phase in their business, and you got to be very careful to not let the compare-itis, which is the thief of joy, to get the best of you. Because when you hear Teisha or you hear, you know, Risa, you hear me, you hear some of these amazing, you hear Nadia, like you could listen to her all day, right? When you hear Kelly, you're going to feel like, man, like they're so amazing. They have so much passion. Well, let me tell you this. Typically when we do these calls, you're hearing from people that have been here for years, or maybe they've been with us for a short time, but they've been in the profession for years. Why do I tell you that? To encourage you and let you know that at one point they were listening to a call just like this going, dude, what are all these products, all these groups, all these apps, all these things? Like, oh, gosh, like overwhelming. And I always say the same thing. It's better to be overwhelmed than underwhelmed. Be like, oh, this is it. This is all you guys do. This kind of sucks. You have 3 products. Ugh. You have no track record. Ugh. Right? You're only in 4 countries. Ugh. Right? We're in like 30 countries, 80 products. But again, and I was just doing a coaching call yesterday with Karen, who is totally crushing it. She did our 14-day video and prospecting challenge, and I think she was number 1 or 2 on the leaderboard, smashing it. I think she was number 2, and number 1 was out of the Czech Republic. Like, how crazy is that? Like, we literally have a team that's representing most of the countries Modare does business in. That is such a wild deal. But, you know, I was talking about, like, the beauty of this business and what you can create. Like, at some point, each and every one of you could be here and just get lucky. You could just get lucky. You could end up introducing someone that introduces someone that introduces someone that's in a different city, state, or country or continent than you. They speak German. They speak English. That's funny, right? They speak French. They speak Spanish. They speak some other language, and they're from some other part of the world. Maybe they speak 5, 6, 7 languages, but they're on your team. So when we open up Mexico or Dubai or some of these other countries in the future, you could be one of those lucky people that was at the right place at the right time, brought in the right person, and that person might build a bigger business than you. They might out-earn you, but they're on your team. Go team, go. This is why I can't imagine not being in network marketing. I can't imagine not having a business that can create leverage and residuals. Like, I see people out there selling different things, promoting different things, and that's cool. You need to make money, right? You got to do something. Like if you're selling solar, you're selling insurance, you're selling cars, you're selling real estate. The problem is, because I used to be a mortgage banker, I was only as good as my last month. So every month I started all over at zero. If I didn't sell money that month, if I didn't sell a loan to somebody, I did not get paid. So the beauty of this business is you build a customer base. You might get a customer today. And I interviewed someone last week about this, Jennifer Piper, who's one of the elite black leaders in this company. And, she pointed out that she came to Modere in 2017, and she has customers that she acquired in 2017 that still order every single month. And you get paid daily on your personal customers every time they order, not just a one-time commission. So you might get a customer today that you're getting paid on 7 years from now in 2030, 2031. Think about that for a second. That's what this business is about. And then here's the thing. How many of you have kids or grandkids or, you're married or you have someone you care about? Wouldn't it be awesome if, God forbid, one day you could will this to them, or you could pass this business off to your children or grandchildren, great-grandchildren? Like, that's what you're building here. Now, I know some of you are just like, I just wanted to make an extra $500 a month, and that's cool too. But if you wanted to build a long-term legacy income, this is the company, this is the team. We have the systems, the support, the scripts, the tools, the training, the mentorship. And again, you're going to hear from 3 people that are totally crushing it. So the first one I'm going to bring up is actually Kelly out of the UK. She's a Director 2 Platinum. You're going to notice everybody has 2 titles or 2 ranks. So on the builder side, she's hit the Director 2 rank. On the promoter side, her personal customer base is on the platinum side, which is 30% commissions on all her personal customers, and her team has done over $25,000 in sales. And here's the other thing, too, is she's enrolling people all the time. I swear, like every other day, Kelly's enrolling a new social marketer, launching new teams, leading by example, and we're just so grateful and glad to have her on the team. So, Kelly, are you unmuted, hopefully?
Hey guys, how are you all doing?
Oh, there you are. I'm so glad you were able to get on the moderator line. So could you start off, Kelly, sharing with everybody just like 2 minutes on your story, your background, what led you to Modere, and then we'll get into some tips.
Yeah, of course. So I am 37 and I'm a single mum. I actually fell into network marketing by chance, really. I actually knew nothing about it, but it was 10 years ago I actually started my journey with network marketing. And I'd put on a little bit of weight, and I started some products, and then got the opportunity to join a business. So I was with my previous company for 9 years, and I've actually only been with Modere for 6 months, but I'm absolutely loving it. So I think the thing with me is, like, I grew up on a council estate. We didn't really have much growing up. But I've always been a very driven person. I've always wanted more from life. I've always wanted to know that when the time came that I become a mum, I could really provide for my kids and give them the stability that they deserved. But when I was younger, I had absolutely no idea really how I was ever going to, get to that point. So I used to job hop a lot. I always worked like 2 or 3 jobs at a time trying to pay the bills and all of the rest of it. And as I say, when I got given the opportunity to join network marketing, I had no idea really what I was letting myself into. But I ran with it, and I've loved my journey so far. It's just the beginning, obviously, with Modere. But with my previous company, I hit the top position within 2 years of being in there, become a 6-figure earner. I've been able to buy my own house. When I did get pregnant, I was financially stable. I've been able to take my mum on holidays and look after her and care for her. And I think that's one thing that's absolutely beautiful about this industry, is that it gives you everything. It gives you the time freedom, the financial freedom, and it just ticks all my boxes. So I was with my previous company, as I say, for 9 years. And it just got to the point where we wasn't bringing out new products. I felt like it had got quite stagnant, and my vision didn't align anymore with that company. So there was nothing wrong personally with the company. It was just my vision wasn't aligning anymore. So I looked around, and when I found Modere, I was absolutely blown away. I feel like as a company, they just have our back in every single way. The company listens. They implement the things that we ask for. We have so many incentives and offers and things like that we can offer our customers. And I just feel like when I saw, even the dual comp plan, like every single thing about Modere, it was like my boxes were like tick, tick, tick. That's what I want. That's what I want to be a part of. And as I say, I've been here now 6 months. I'm absolutely loving it. As John said, I do recruit very heavily. I think I do recruit probably about 10 people a month at the moment. But that's what it's all about. It's about leading by example and showing your team what is possible in this industry.
I love that so much. And, yes, I see you consistently doing what it takes to build a real business. And, it's important for people to understand that there is that dual-sided compensation plan where technically you could make a really great part-time or even a full-time income just from building a customer base. And we teach you how to leverage social media, how to generate leads. We give you we spoon-feed you post ideas and strategy to build a following and put yourself out there so you don't have to rely on just like your friends and family, like a lot of these old school MLMs. It's kind of like, hey, make a list of people and pitch them on your products and opportunity. And by the way, nothing wrong with acquiring a customer from your existing warm market, but there is something amazing when you can start to branch out of your immediate network of people and you start to build that following. And some of you probably already have a following. Some of you probably already use social media in that capacity. Well, Kelly has been very consistent in that. So, Kelly, can you start off with maybe sharing some tips, right, to recruit people on a consistent basis? I mean, you've been here 6 months, so it's not like you're only enrolling a bunch of people because you just came over from another company. Like, this is 6 months later, and you're still enrolling consistently. So can you share some tips, some advice for people that would love to do what you're doing and rank advance on both sides of the compensation plan, and they would love to start enrolling on a consistent basis?
Of course, yeah. So I'm absolutely massive on attraction marketing, and I do post a lot. I think one thing with this business is you have to be relatable and you have to allow people into your life. So there's a few things. Well, the first thing is get on the product. Make sure that you are being a product of the product. And then also be consistent. And there's a few things you should be consistent with, not just your posting, but also who you are on social media. You almost have to brand yourself as such. So I have a little task that I usually get my new girls when they join to do. And it's literally just writing down 5 things that make you you. So for example, me, it would be my son. I love singing, I love shopping, I love traveling, and I love animals. So if you go onto my social media, you will see that. Those 5 things are what I call breakup posts. So as much as you want to be sharing, result pictures and your life and all of the rest of it, you also want to show yourself and let people into your life. And those 5 things are what you're going to be posting about. So you want to be consistent with who you are because you want to get people, over to your page that are going to be, sort of like-minded people. Your vibe attracts your tribe. So all of the people in my team, we all are very, very similar because I've attracted them in, from those 5 things. But with attraction marketing, when I'm out and about, you can literally make a post of anything and turn it into a business post. Go and get a coffee, show where you're working from and start having a coffee and earning money, earning an income. Take your child out for the day. What are you doing with your child? Show that you're doing that and you're still able to be earning an income. And all of these things, doing these things consistently will bring people over to your page. Being relatable, as I say, lead by example, and just be consistent with doing those things.
I really like that, too. It's really just making it a habit to start documenting. Would you agree?
Yeah, so I actually follow a DMO, which is a daily method of operation. And again, when someone joins my team, they get that daily method of operation. What it is, it's basically like a tick list, like a to-do list each day of what sort of content you need to be getting on your page. So I think off the top of my head, it's something like 1 result picture a day, a bold recruitment post every 2-3 days, show where you're working from, like an excitement post, thank you for your order post. You want to do your happy birthdays. You want to go and do like 15 minutes of connecting. You want to go and get in your inbox for 15 minutes, all of these things. So when someone joins my team, they get that DMO, and I say to them, if you really want to be successful, you need to be consistent with that DMO.
I love that so much. And it is funny because in the beginning, I think that's the thing people struggle with the most. They don't know where they should start. They don't know what to focus on. And get with your upline. I mean, inside of our guides, inside of our training guide 1 and additional guides 2. But there's all the resources you need to get started, the 24-hour game plan, the scripts. There's online tools, but then I actually think it's a good idea to print off a tracker, your DMO, so that way you can keep track of the things you're doing. You kind of check the boxes. I don't know if a lot of you are the same way, but I know for me, like when I started to put together like an intentional plan, like I had a schedule, I had the tracker, like checking the boxes, having a to-do list. Now I don't have to think about it, right? Kelly doesn't have to think about it. It's kind of like we automatically document. We automatically come up with post ideas. And even there probably are days where Kelly's like, I'm not in the mood to post something. Like I did a post today, and I already knew it would blow up because I did the exact same post word for word 2 years ago on the same day. So I already knew it was going to blow up. So this is also the beauty of getting good at what Kelly's talking about, because once you kind of have your 5 pillars and you kind of have the content that you're going to create, the content you're going to talk about, post about, you start to build up a library of content. So when you follow, this is a tip I would recommend for all of you. Everybody on this call today that you saw on the flyer that you're going to hear from Teisha, Risa, myself, Kelly, follow those people on social media. Look at what they're doing. Look how they show up. Look how consistent they are. Look at the post ideas. Now, you're not going to copy them, but you can model what they're doing. Model success. Follow the top people that you see on the leaderboards, the top Canadians, the top Americans, the top in Europe. You can see who the top recruiters and the top sellers are, and you can see what they're doing on social. Now, you might not necessarily see what they're doing behind the scenes, but a lot of what they're doing is on social media. So follow Kelly's stories, watch what she does, but make it your own. So Kelly, what would you recommend for people that want to do more team building, more recruiting? What are some of the things you do when someone raises their hand and they express interest?
So I work best with voice notes. One thing, again, I think it just works better when you are talking to people about business so that they can hear your voice and hear that you're genuine, or set up a call. I'm not too much of a fan of like copy and paste templates as such. I think you need to be relatable. But so when I'm speaking to someone, I always fact find first. I find out, why do they want to earn more money? I know it could be an easy answer, but is it because they want to look after their kids? Is it because they want to just have a little bit more of an income to book a holiday? Whatever it is, and then you can become more relatable to what it is their needs are. We also have in my team a prospect group, so we have a potentials group. And every other week we're going to be setting up live interviews in there. So again, it will be tagged, as to what it might be. And then when someone comes in with whatever goal it is, we can tag them in those posts that are relevant. But I think it's just finding out, as I say, what people's goals are, what they want out of business, and then relating it back to that.
Yeah, that's a really good point too. Sometimes we forget to just ask questions, get people talking, let them tell you why they want to try the products, why they want to start an additional income, because then it's a lot easier based on what they want, not what you want, what they want, to map out a plan. Any other tips, Kelly? Anything else you would suggest for people listening that are excited to start growing their team like you?
Yeah, so one big thing is do a vision board. So I have different things on my vision board. I have like short-term goals, mid-term goals, and long-term goals. And it's really, really important because like you said, John, there are going to be days where we all have where you get up and you think, do you know what, I cannot be asked today. But if you've got a vision board and you're constantly seeing that and you're reminding yourself of why you're doing this business, why you're building, what you want to get out of this, if you're seeing that all of the time, you're more likely to to keep doing the do and stay consistent. So again, what we do, some of us in our team, we actually have our vision board like as a photo, and then we save it as our screensaver on our phones. So then when you look at your phone, you're like, do you know what? No, that's why I'm doing it. Get to work. Gives you a bit of a boot up the backside. But it's also a really good tool, again, to help you recruit as well, because as you're ticking those goals off, you can then visually show that to people. You know, you can literally pull that off your board, do a video, post it, and show, I've just done this because of my business. This is what I've achieved because of this business. And you can just tie it in with that. Even if, you know, you haven't been in this business long and you haven't got your own story yet, share other people's stories. Like we have so much success here. It is unbelievable. But make sure you are, sharing all of that success and talking openly as well about your goals, even if you haven't hit them yet. Get people to visualize what it is you're creating. And then that will help you to build and recruit people into your business.
Yep. Amen. You know, it's so funny too, because, you know, when I first got started, that was one of the things I really struggled with. And, you know, the more you listen to calls like this and the more you really tune in, you realize it's not that complicated. It's such a simple process. Once you learn the basics of ATM, you know, social media marketing, creating conversation, just being a human first, a marketer second, and then you start to realize, like, why you're doing this. Like, whenever you feel discouraged, you got to remember why you got started. When you have that dream board, you have those big goals, you start to realize, like, you know, like, of course it's supposed to be hard. Of course you're going to have days where you feel like quitting. But when you remember that you have a much bigger goal, a much bigger dream, well, guess what? That means you're going to have an equal amount of struggle, adversity, you know, challenge. It makes sense that if you want to be a person of tenacity, perseverance, you want to be a person that people, you know, look at for inspiration, that you're going to have to go through some trials and tribulations. There's going to be times where, like, you don't know if you can keep going, but if you remember why you got started and you got those big visions and you're not just, like, talking about it, but like you said, you actually make a dream board and you see it every day and it goes into your subconscious, like, that will, I'm telling you, that will pay off. Sometimes people don't believe in that stuff, but it really does make a big difference. And I think one of the things that always kept me so motivated is in those early days, I don't know how many of you experienced this, but you have some haters. I'm sure, Kelly, you've had some haters, right? You get those trolls with goals that leave nasty comments, or, you know, they kind of do the passive-aggressive posting, or they say things to you when you see them in person. But I always, like, remembered those people. I don't know if everybody else can relate to this, but those haters I had in those early years, because I've been doing this for over 2 decades, but I never wanted them to be right. So it would always, like, motivate me whenever I felt discouraged or disappointed or I felt like giving up. I was like, oh, my gosh, I can't quit, because then I'd let them be right and I can't let them win. And then, of course, years later, you know, having kids and having a family, you start to have different reasons for showing up every day. And now for me, it's all about impact. You know, you look at Kelly, you look at these other people you're going to hear from. We make a difference by helping other people make a difference in their lives, in the lives of others. That's really what it's all about, whether it's customers loving our products, whether it's that part-time, you know, social marketer or stay-at-home mom that wants to make extra money, or it's someone wanting to build a big business, wanting to build an empire and change their financial future. Anywho, I could talk all day about this. Kelly, thank you so much. I know you're in the UK, so it's a little later where you're at, so we appreciate you being flexible and being on today's call, and just so inspiring to see you leading by example, rank advancing on both sides of the plan, and just keep up the great work. Thanks.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. You're amazing. All right. Do we have Teisha on? Hopefully she is unmuted and ready to rock and roll.
Oh, there we go. I think I'm unmuted now. You guys
You
can hear
are.
me?
We hear you. Hi, Teisha. So, guys, this is really exciting. First time Teisha's been on the call. She's out of the Canadian market, Director 1 on the builder side, Platinum 1 on the promoter side, and she's another one I would recommend following. She's so consistent in her stories. She's always showing up, showing her face, showing value, showing behind the scenes, you know, having fun, putting herself out there. And this is, I'm telling you, once you guys get the hang of this, for some of you, it's going to be a little uncomfortable at first, but once you get the hang of it, you know what got me? I don't know, Teisha, if you remember when you first started posting on social, but it's when people start to, like, ask questions or they start to thank you. When I started getting thank yous for my valuable content or questions from what I was posting, I was like, man, maybe I'm on to something. maybe I should do this more often. Now, that was over a decade ago, but it starts to become fun where you're like, oh my gosh, like, let me show this and let me talk about that. And eventually you start to get really good at telling stories, offering tips, advice, value, and then it becomes attractive. You start to attract like-minded people, and Teisha's done just that. So, Teisha, what's up? Happy to have you on the call today.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate the opportunity to come speak today. And just a little bit about me. I'm a Gen Z. I'm a former elementary school teacher as well, and I've been full-time now in the network marketing industry for 6.5 years about. And when I got involved, it wasn't because I was looking for anything. It was simply because somebody asked me to take a look. And I remember thinking, okay, well, I love the product. I love sharing it with people, so why not? Why not try it? And at the time, I was partnered with a home party business, so I was doing party plan, that kind of model. And I wasn't the type of person that I think a lot of people expected to do something like this, because I naturally was very introverted. I was shy. I don't think people really saw me as a leader. But unexpectedly, when I started this, I really began to fall in love with the personal development aspect. And as John says, like, this is just a personal development program with a compensation plan attached, and 100% true. And that's a huge part of my story, is the personal development that I've been able to experience in this industry. And it was having such an amazing effects on me. So, like, when I got started, the two things I knew is that I loved a product and I loved sharing it. And I remember when my leader asked me getting started how I felt about building a team and recruiting, having an organization. And I remember thinking to myself, like, no, I wasn't going to be one of those people. Like, I don't want to be pushy. I don't want to ask people that. But the two things I knew is that, like I said, I love the product and I loved sharing it. So that's exactly what I did. But, like, as John was saying at the beginning too, people are attracted to passion. People are attracted to people who are showing up, have that confidence in what they're doing. And so, like, my biggest fear in the world was public speaking, like thinking maybe back 5 years ago, would I be doing a call like this, or, having a team and an organization? Like, never in a million years did I think that. But I really did discover that this was where a light would just shine in me when I started, really taking this the network marketing industry seriously, taking it professionally. And I discovered my passion for this industry and just helping other people like me gain their confidence and find their spotlight. And as I was working my business, I was actually, at the time, I was a university student. I started this industry when I was 21, and it was at the time where I needed to start applying for jobs and, getting some interviews lined up for when I graduated. But I remember applying for those jobs and something just didn't feel right. I remember working my business on the side and thinking, this is one of the only things keeping me sane. And I was struggling in my, during my degree, I was struggling. It was mentally, physically exhausting on me. I remember being surrounded by sort of a negative atmosphere as well, in terms of, I remember going into staff rooms, and I remember teachers talking about how much they honestly just hated their jobs. And I remember thinking, I can't surround myself with this type of atmosphere for the rest of my life. Like, I know how passionate I am about network marketing, and it lights me up. It was really the only thing I wanted to do in the pockets of my day when I started it. But I ended up never getting back to any of those phone calls to go become a teacher, to go apply for these jobs. I ignored all the voice memos, and I just decided I was going to sub full-time for a year. And at that time, that's when the pandemic hit. So I remember schools shutting down. I remember I was no longer able to sub, and I remember being told you can apply for a government grant to get paid since you can't work. And for me, in my head, I'm like, this is kind of a win-win, because I can now work my business, I can work my butt off, and see what I can do so that once schools open back up, I can potentially make this my full-time income, my full-time gig. And it was paying for little things at the time, like the gas, the groceries. Like, I was a broke university student, so I didn't have the money getting started. But like I said, it was mentally and physically draining me. My mental health was suffering, and I really wanted to make this full-time for me, because I knew it was something that fulfilled me. I knew it was something I was passionate about. And so I put together these daily, weekly, and monthly checklists, and I plugged in every single day. These were the non-negotiables I had to do. And I remember having to go through a huge mindset shift when I came here, because going from, I guess, one industry where I felt like I was surrounded by a lot of negative, I really had to learn to have a positive mindset on everything. And my mindset has completely shifted since getting started in this industry. And so in that time when schools were shut down, I remember, this is true for me. And I remember my income growing, and I was able to pay off my final semester of tuition for school. In that year, I attended my very first conference in the company. I was named the top recruiter, the top 3 in sales, the top 5 in team sales in my previous company for many years, and I started overcoming those fears. I started speaking at events. I was asked to speak at leadership events, and I just felt like a completely different person, but in the most real and refreshing way. And I love sharing this story because I think it really shows my growth, that I came from zero. I didn't get in early. I didn't have a huge network. I was a broke university student with student loans. I didn't feel like I had a lot of customers to serve. I had all the excuses and hesitations that I feel like so many other people had, and I was naturally introverted. So that's really a huge part of my story, that if I could do this, anybody could do this. And that's how I got involved in the industry and my why for doing what I do today. Do you want me to get into kind of like how I got into Modere?
Yeah, I love that, and I think it's also really powerful for people to hear that, again, started part-time, introverted, wasn't some experienced, influential speaker. In fact, you had a fear of public speaking, and by the way, so did I. That was my biggest fear when I got started, and they kept trying to force me in front of the room to do even a testimonial. I'm like, nope, if you call my name, I'm walking out, and I'm never coming back. I was so against it. So it's always cool to hear those stories, because I think people assume that the only ones that have success are the extroverts, and you want to speak in front of people and you want to do videos, and that's not really the truth at all. Most of us started out at suck, and we were embarrassingly terrified of doing those things. But yeah, let's get into some of the advice you would have for a brand new person getting started, and also I think it'd be good for people to hear, why did you choose to partner with Modere? Because you could have gone anywhere. You were the top recruiter. You were crushing it in your previous business. But when you no longer aligned with that company and you were looking for a new home, what was it about Modere? And then what did you do getting started that you would recommend other people do?
Yeah, absolutely. So, in my previous company, like I said, I was achieving all the accolades. I was earning the trips. I was able to bring my husband, my mom, my dad on these trips, and it was so rewarding. But there was still this small piece of me that never felt satisfied, because I wasn't being duplicatable to my team. I wasn't seeing my team experience the wins that I was experiencing. And I also wasn't at the time open-minded to other opportunities. I would get messages often being like, take a look at this, take a look at that. And I was never open to seeing what else was out there. And this was the very first company that I was with. So in my head, I'm thinking, how could I ever leave an incredible team and company that I poured 5 years into, right? I created friendships, professional relationships. I was given so many opportunities to just step into the best version of myself, and I am forever grateful for that. But I truly stayed so long because of the community, but there was something missing. And what I realized after some time is that, the community is who I choose to surround myself with. And I can have that community anywhere I go, because I'm in control of who I interact with. So I knew that I wanted to continue growing, and I knew that I needed to start thinking bigger, because I wanted a global team. And the company I was a part of at the time, I could only, build an organization and sell within my country in Canada. So, and I had people, and I was so strong on social media that I had people reaching out to me from different countries, and I'm like, man, I wish I could help more people. So I knew I had to start thinking bigger. I had to stop playing small. So I started looking, and I grew, I evolved, and inevitably I did find Modere, the social retail model, and I think it's completely changing the game. All I wondered when I heard about it was, why haven't I looked into this sooner? With it being like a global company, I could have my dreams of building a global team and having top-class leadership. I looked at the leaders, and in my previous company, I was kind of like, I didn't have an active upline, so I felt like I was always recreating the wheel. I was always the one doing the running, leading the calls, doing everything, and I never felt like I had people to run with, where when I looked here, I'm like, oh my gosh, look at these incredible people that I've been following for years, John actually being one of them. I've been talking to John for like over 5 years. I've only been within Modere for about 1.5 years now, but this company stood out to me because of the top class leadership and the people continuously pouring down into you. I saw how they collaborated. I saw how there was it wasn't competition, like sideline, downline, upline, people work together. And the systems I saw, I can go on about everything that really stood out to me about this company, but it is by far, I remember looking into multiple comp plans because this was such a big decision for me to shift somewhere else. And this was by far the best I've ever seen in my life. The customer rewards program, just letting customers be customers, that, in my opinion, so smart. It's a company that attracts business builders and not discount buyers. And that was how I was taught to recruit back then, was join for the discount, join for yourself. But it's let customers be customers, and let's start playing bigger and building organizations of people who want to make money, who are here for the income. And my vision was to have that global team. A team that was here to make an additional income for their families, find a place where they feel they belonged, where they felt valued. And again, a product that's it's never going out of style. Health and wellness isn't a trend. Health and wellness is here to stay. People are always looking after their health and wellness. So that was a huge reason why I shifted into Modere and coming here. I hit director in just after my first month here, and I saw that spark was reignited. I was finding people who wanted to be here. It's I didn't have to go convince people, and we talked about attraction marketing a lot on this call already, but that was a huge thing for me, is learning that we don't have to chase people, we can attract people, because this model is just so amazing. So I guess my advice going into for people coming in here, or people that are, currently in the business looking to really up level themselves, for me, it's mindset. I think mindset is the training that everyone needs, but no one really asks for. We always ask for training on how do we recruit? How do we sell more? But in reality, we need to develop our mindsets. And that was a huge part of my journey in how I feel I was able to become successful. And so one thing I felt compelled to share today is, we in this business get so many no's when it comes to recruiting and building our organization. But what if we started to look at every single circumstance around recruiting, or really anything that happens in your business, as neutral? So for example, say you talk to 9 people about the business and they all say no. Many would look at that and tell themselves, well, that's a crappy situation. I just talked to 9 people, they all said no. But what they're choosing to tell themselves is a negative story because they felt crappy about the outcome. And since they tell themselves that story, they go on to, they stop recruiting, they stop taking action. And to me, that's a weak mindset, but it's kind of the norm. But someone with a growth mindset would look at that same situation and say, all right, we've talked to 9 people, which means my next recruit is just around the corner. I know that on average, 1 in every 10 people you talk to will get started. And that means I'm almost there. And since that person chose to tell themselves that story, they went on to take action and sign up their next team member. So for me, I teach my team, and I've had to learn myself to look at every single thing that happens in your business as neutral. And naturally, something negative might come into your mind originally, especially if that's what you're used to telling yourself. But you need to look at it and think, how can you change the story that you tell yourself? Because that story is going to affect how you feel, and ultimately it's going to determine your next action step in your business. And I have to look at life always, it's not happening to you, it's happening for you. You need to go through this lesson in order to grow. Because you can't control what another person's response will be. You can only control what you say and what your intentions are by asking someone to take a look. So focusing on the controllables is a huge lesson that I really had to learn and continue to teach my team to this day.
Yeah, I love that so much. And I always look at it like this. I want every person I'm connected with to at least know what I'm doing. I don't want them all to just join, buy. I only want them to buy or join if they actually want to. I don't want them to buy something they don't need or want. I don't want them to, partner up with me if they're not, really looking to earn an additional income. And it's kind of like you said, what I love about what we do is we kind of allow people to, whether they want to just use the product, promote the product, or they want to build a team and promote the product, we allow them to do what they want to do with this business. And it really is, a numbers game, of course, but you don't want to treat people like a number. So you just want to look at it like you're always planting those seeds. So every no is just, no, not yet. No, not now. No, I'm not ready. But if you keep going, you keep showing up. I mean, I've got a guy right now that's on the call. What's up, Zach? I don't know if he's on, but he said he was going to be on. The point is, we've been friends for, on and off. I've been associated with him or connected to him for over 15 years. 15 years. So, you don't know when someone might need an opportunity or when they might need this product. But if you keep doing your job on the front end, building the relationships, putting out your content, connecting with people on the back end, some will, some won't, some wait, so what, next? There's always someone out there looking for what we have to offer. And I look at Teisha as one of those people that's been very consistent, and you can tell she has that growth mindset. You can tell she's done a lot of the personal development, which is why even though she had the fear of public speaking and the introvert, all the things, she's now a top person, a top leader, a top social marketer. And this is what I love about this business. Like I said in the very beginning, it's personal development with a comp plan attached. So the more you work on yourself, the more you will achieve your goals and dreams with this opportunity. Teisha, any final tips for people that are listening, that are tuning in, that are really wanting to have that level of success? Anything else you would suggest?
Yeah, just quickly, I guess, when it comes to recruiting, belief is everything here. And I know sometimes being a new social marketer or someone new to even recruiting and building an organization, we struggle with it a little bit. And one piece of advice I got was that if you don't have the belief yet, or if you don't have the confidence yet, borrow somebody else's. Borrow your uplines, borrow a sidelines. You don't have to be 100% when you start, because you need to work up to building that confidence, right? But you have to remember that this opportunity that we have with Modere, it is pure freaking gold. There is so much here that we can offer people. And even though this opportunity might be a side hustle, even a full-time income for some people, but this opportunity may be a lifeline to somebody else. So I want you to think about why you got started with Modere. I told you guys my reasons, but what are your reasons for getting started with Modere? And are you sharing those? Because you not sharing why you got started with this company, that could be depriving someone who's in a situation who could really use this opportunity and really want to jump in. And just remember that, like I said, if you struggle with the recruiting conversations right now, borrow somebody else. We teach like the three-way chats, the three-way calls, and you could borrow somebody else's belief. Not every single person is going to relate to maybe your story or who you are, but who is someone that they will relate to? Who is someone that can, talk about the business and has been doing this for years and years of experience? That's how you're going to grow and learn, is by borrowing that belief or borrowing that confidence from someone else until you have it yourself. And I'm just going to be completely real here. We talked a little bit about public speaking and the fear behind it. I still am so fearful of public speaking, but I just learned to do it in fear over and over and over again until it gets easier. But even today, I was like, I'm terrified to talk on this call, but I'm also pumped for it because I know that there's people out there who maybe I'm just one step ahead of them and they could learn from me. So just remember that you are helping people. You have a unique story, whether you think, they have a way better story or not. You are going to help somebody. So just share your story, share what you love, because someone out there is listening, whether you believe it or not. And you just never know what people need this. Yeah.
I love that so much, because there's always someone that's going to relate to your story. And that's the thing that people sometimes forget. It's like, I can't do what Kelly does, or I'm not as dynamic as Teisha, or I can't, do what John and Nadia. It's like, you don't need to be like John and Nadia. You don't need to be like Teisha. You need to be your own authentic version. So when you reach out to people, when you're starting to post on social media, don't try to fake it. Right? Don't try to put on a front like you're more successful than you are, or, telling a story that isn't really you. The sooner you get that, the sooner you get comfortable with just sharing your truth, your values, your story, the sooner you will start to get attention on social media. And listen, it's not just about attention. Obviously, we need to convert these people that are, watching a video, or they're, dropping a like, dropping a comment. We need to convert some of them into actual customers, but it does start with attention. And if you can get attention and you can offer value to people, and they see you as an inspiration, they see you as someone that is in some way, shape, or form impacting their life in a positive way, the money will follow. The results will follow. The customers, the recruits, all the things that will happen for you. And I just think we're at a very unique time where right now the economy sucks. People are, a little shook up with what's going on, politically and some of the things that are happening in the world. But if you are that positive light during a dark time and they see you showing up consistently, you will start to convert some of those followers into customers, into teammates. And you just never know. Like, what's beautiful about this is you meet people from all over the world, and you just never know when someone might actually partner up with you, and you might work with that person for the next 10 years, for the rest of your life even. And this is what's so amazing about this business is you really are partnering up with other people. They're not just in your downline. They don't work for you. We all work together to grow this, this global brand, this amazing company. We all work together. And I love that part. And, Teisha, just so you guys know, she's not even on our team, but she's just someone I'm friends with. And I was like, hey, can you speak on our call? Can you come share your story? And I think it's really inspiring. And this is what I love about this company is everybody works together, and there's so much camaraderie and collaboration. And it's just a beautiful thing. So, Teisha, thank you for being on, and congrats on all your success.
Thanks for having me, and I appreciate your mentorship, John.
Absolutely. Risa, Garrett, are you there?
I am. Good morning.
I'm so excited you are on. Risa, you are amazing. Y'all, listen, Risa's been working with us for a couple years now, one of the most positive people. She's always showing up in the ATM groups and on her social. She's always leading by example. She's always got a big smile on her face, and you're just going to notice she has, like, the best personality. So, Risa, what's up? Happy to have you on the call. I know you are Director 2 on the builder side, Platinum 2 on the promoter side, leading by example, always showing up. I would love for you to start off with, just like everyone else, sharing a little bit about your story, your background, and then we'll get into some tips wrapping up the call today.
Yeah, sounds great. Thanks so much for inviting me to participate. And, gosh, I love being on these calls because, as everybody else has been sharing their story and their tips. I'm like, yes, this is so good. Like, it's just so, so good. So if you're out there listening in or catching the replay, I'm sure you're taking notes. I certainly have been myself. So good morning from, oh my gosh, it's sunny Seattle, Washington today. So like John said, my name is Risa Garrett, and I am a mom of 2 great kids. Our son, Andrew, just is halfway through his summer after finishing his second year of college. He just turned 21, and our daughter, Emily Ann, is going to be entering her senior year of high school, so she'll be 18 next week. And I share their ages because not only do I have to say it out loud because it's a little shocking, they've grown up, I haven't aged a day, but I kind of fell into network marketing when they were teeny tiny little things. I think Andrew was like 3 years old in his first year of preschool, and Emily was still in diapers. And I had, retired from a great career at Microsoft. I was a talent scout there. I loved my job, the benefits, the pay, everything was awesome. But I wanted more time with my kids. And I even had a pretty great gig there. Like, where I went into Microsoft, I was one of the weird people that was like, hey, don't hire me if you want someone that's going to live here, because my family is my number one. And I was really blessed with great leaders there, but I wanted full-time time with my kids. I wanted to be the one taking them to swim lessons and, going to the park on a Sunday morning kind of thing. And so I left that great career and was living my dream, being a stay-at-home mom, and I kind of just fell into this profession. I literally didn't even know I was joining the network marketing company when I did it. I just had a friend that was doing a side hustle, and I trusted her, and I thought it sounded like a cool product. And I thought, you know what, like, I think I'm going to give that a try. And it was super appealing to me because I really thought of it as something that only could bring only good things to my life, more to my life, versus take things away. I wanted something where I could have, sweet little Emily in her little bouncy seat and my son Andrew, kind of playing in the corner as I was pouring into myself, giving myself kind of another identity on top of, wife, mom, daughter, sister, mother, and could also, bring in some money. Although that was not my first priority at that time. You know, I was really looking for that professional development piece that was mentioned before, and, you know, also just that feeling of being able to kind of learn something new and accomplish something and get rewarded for it. You know, not only with recognition, but also with kind of money. Like, that felt so, so good to me. So that is kind of how I kind of came into the industry. My husband, Mark, and I met at Washington State University. So if there's any Cougs out there, go Cougs. We've been married we just had our 24th year anniversary, actually. So, you know, family and being home, having it all, those have been really important things to me. And I feel super lucky because my kids have grown up seeing me do just that. Be at every lacrosse game, be able to take the vacation and leave on a Wednesday, you know, be at all the family dinners, you know, getting to have complete control and choice over how and who I spend my time with, but still be able to contribute to our family finances, grow myself, you know, the highs and the lows, because I think it's also really valuable for your kids to see you, you know, work through hard times, you know, and come out the other side. So it's been really, really a blessing for me. So that's a little bit about kind of my background. Modera is my fourth company, so I've been here for a little over 2 years. John and Nadia were a huge part of that, as was my business partner and mentor, Joan Rabison, who's also a dear friend. And, you know, I had in the past, I guess before Modera, I had been with 3 other companies, 2 of which were startups, and one was a more established company. And I am so thankful. You know, I've learned so many different things from all of those experiences. Each of those businesses, you know, had times where everything was just rocking and rolling and super easy, and each of those companies and businesses had times where you had to kind of dig in a little bit deeper and really get kind of gritty, where your belief and your drive to really create something that is meaningful and that you love was required, you know, on the daily. And so I felt like when I was to the point where we were looking for potentially a new home, we were really, really picky, you know. I had a long list of things that were, you know, non-negotiables and things that were kind of pie in the sky, like, oh, that would be so amazing if I could find a place that had this or that. And after, you know, talking with John and Nadia and some other leaders at the company and our corporate office team, as well as doing the same with several other great companies, it became very, very clear that Modera was the obvious choice, the place that we wanted to come. And a couple of the things that really were at the top of that list were leadership. You know, there's a reason that there were so many incredible people that could be, quite frankly, anywhere and successful anywhere, why they were here and why they were staying here for such an extended, you know, period of time, truly making their home, putting down deep, deep roots. You know, education, you know, systems, products, those were all super, super important. And I got to experience those, you know, through the process of just getting to know people here at Modera, the incredible ATM system, the power of 3-way chats, you know, the power of calls just like these. And then stability was really, really important. You know, having been at a couple different companies where, you know, one was really stable, the other 2 not so much. Yeah, you know, I really, if I was going to bring a team somewhere, I wanted to feel like I had really done my due diligence and looked at, you know, all the numbers, at the products. I talked to people in and outside of the company, and that I really understood the power of the compensation plan and how people could make, you know, between a couple $100 to, you know, multiples of thousands of dollars somewhere, because there are people that want all of those different things and everything in between. And so that was really, really powerful. And I'll say one of the things that was most important to me, and, you know, probably some of you know this, some of you might not know this, but, you know, our business, our numbers, our sales are based on customers, real customers, not me times 3 different names. Real customers ordering real products that are producing great results. And that was something that my eyes had kind of been open to in the past, and that, I as a leader might have been, seeing massive success, but my team necessarily wasn't making money, and, a lot of volume. In the end, I had found out through kind of like sleuthing around, and asking more and more questions on my team, was coming from, reps just buying products, so not making money. And that was not okay with me. I really wanted to be somewhere where I could point people to a plan and a system and products that, they could really sell. They could learn how to sell. They could really sell and actually be making money. That was really, really important to me. So that's kind of my story and a little bit about how I ended up at Modere.
I love it so much. And I think it's really important for people to know that, people like you, people like me, we've had different experiences with other companies. So, for some people, they've never done anything like this before, or they did, but it was like years ago, and it was like, home parties. The way we build is so unique. And if you've been with another company, I'm telling you, the more you dive into the details and the strategies and the rebates, the rewards, the Modere Cash, the referral program, like the dual-sided comp plan, like there's so many little things that we do that are exceptional. And it really is why people like Risa and myself and so many other people from other companies that could go anywhere chose to plant their flag and partner up with this amazing social retail model. So, Risa, what would be some advice for someone listening right now, and they're like, hey, I really want to start growing this business. I want to know maybe what to do on a consistent basis to create those results outside of like the mindset stuff and some of what we heard today. What would be some particular tips that you would recommend? Some of the things that, because I think you were talking a little bit about how like you promote the 5-day drop and some of the collaboration there. I think some of that would be really helpful for people to hear.
Yeah, I'm all about the 5-day drop. Who isn't, right? So I freaking love that program. I think it's so amazing. And, if you haven't done it, do it, because really if you're looking to get excited in your business, do it, because it will get you excited. So, one of the things also that I think is so special about Modere is just that collaboration piece. And, the 5-day drop is something that just reminds me of that time and time again. And I have to give a little shout out to, Ashley and Yasmin and Brandy and Jen and Mindy and Joan, because, we've been doing the 5-day drop and sharing that like crazy, doing it ourselves with customers. But, all it took was watching Ashley Albeck do the training within your M Life Nation page. And I was like, oh my God, like that is so cool. Here's like a super simple duplicatable system that I know I could do. I know my team could do. And I just shot her a message, Now we're not on the same team. She doesn't get anything out of helping me. I don't get anything out of helping her other than just helping each other and being good people, wanting people to be successful. And it's been so cool to once again get to collaborate and partner up with people across this company, because when you have smart, driven people doing things, it is so magical when they're willing to show you all their cards. Not half of them, not, all but one, but truly all of their cards. For no other reason than wanting to help other people be successful. And I've got to tell you, in 14 years in this industry, this is the only place where I have truly seen that kind of cross-team collaboration at that level. And that is just really, really beautiful. So, as far as, tips for success, I would say don't overcomplicate things. I will admit I have occasionally, I didn't even know I was doing it, but I was so well-versed at creating my own systems. I tried to kind of recreate the wheel. Just don't do it. Utilize a daily DMO, one that's working. I mean, there's multiples of them out there. I know that there's one in the boards that we can utilize. But really commit to doing a daily DMO for 90 days. Not 15 days, not a week, not, 6 weeks, but really 90 days. Because in my experience, that consistency, really sticking to the plan, the results are going to show up in 90 days. You're going to see truly what's working in that time period. And if you see someone that's killing it or doing something that you think looks interesting or that, you would want to try yourself or have questions, reach out to them. Like, who in the world would ever be offended or think it was weird to have somebody inbox them and say, oh, my God, I just saw your blah, blah, blah name on the leaderboard or whatever. I saw your video, and you're killing it. Do you have a couple minutes? I'd love to ask you a couple questions. Like, that is such an incredible compliment. Pay it to someone. And then, listen and learn from what they're doing and see how you can maybe help them expand what they're doing as well. So I think that kind of collaboration, that culture of success and helping each other is so incredibly powerful.
Yep, couldn't agree more. And it's funny how many people on this team have built these amazing relationships with people that are in a different line. They're in a different organization, and it's they become BFFs. They become accountability partners and, power partners. And I just love that. I mean, I've seen this happen time and time again. So yeah, if you hear someone that's, doing amazing things on this call, or you see someone posting and you just like their style, I mean, you don't just have to work with your upline. You don't just have to work with your direct controller. I mean, that really is the beauty of this team. There's so many amazing people on this team, just within this team, not including all the other teams in Modere, just on this team that you can connect with and collaborate with. So I love that so much. Anything else you want to share, Risa, before we wrap up the call today? And thanks for being on. I know it's a holiday weekend, so thanks again for sharing.
All good. Yeah, no, thanks for being on. I'll just kind of end it with this. Go get what you want. Don't sit around thinking about it. If you want to grow your business, if you want to grow your sales, if you want to go find your next, amazing business partner, if you're lonely in your business and you want to have a power partner, or you want to do what so-and-so is doing, step into it, own it. You're the one that gets to make and drive that change. And so even if you're feeling nervous about it, even if it's out of your comfort zone, go do it, because those are really, really good indicators, that kind of fearfulness, that anxiousness. Instead of thinking of those as fear and anxiety, think of them as excitement. You're excited to get starting and you're stretching and growing yourself. So own what you want, go after it big. And John, thanks so much for the opportunity today. This has been a really fun way to start my Saturday.
Absolutely, and I love that you're on the West Coast too. So you're still in the morning, I'm in the afternoon, but here we are talking to people literally all over the world. It's so crazy. We have someone from the UK, West Coast. I mean, it's the beauty of this business, right? And what's great about these calls on Saturday, y'all? You don't have to be camera ready. I know sometimes people are confused. They're like, wait, it's not a Zoom. It's like a conference call, like a phone call. I'm going to use my phone to call a number? That's so weird and foreign. But we've been doing it as a conference call for almost 9 years. And quite honestly, it's nice to have this one call during the week. Nobody has to have their camera on, and we can all just, listen. So anyway, Risa, you're amazing.
Exactly.
Thank you for being available. And thank you to Teisha. Thank you to Kelly. Thank you to Sean for running the controls behind the scenes. Michelle Barnes for having this call every single Saturday. And Nadia Melton for hosting, the hostess with the mostest. All right, y'all. Love you long time. Anything you guys need, let us know. God bless, and enjoy.